Good afternoon or good morning, depending on what time zone you're in. This is Jay Hunt. I'm the operations officer here at the Cultural Knowledge Consortium. I'd like to welcome you to another speaker series brought to you by the Cultural Knowledge Consortium. The CKC is a joint and interagency effort of the U.S. government to support the development of sociocultural knowledge and facilitate knowledge exchange across the breadth of sociocultural communities of interest. Learn more about CKC at www.culturalknowledge.org. Today's speaker is Dr. Mark Luce, and he will be discussing confessional communities in Iran and current trends. You may submit questions using the chat Q&A pod in the lower portion of your screen, and we'll try and answer as many questions as possible in the time allowed towards the end of the presentation. This presentation may be recorded for posting on the CKC web portal. All content is unclassified, and now it's my pleasure to present to you Dr. Mark Luce. Sir, the floor is yours.
Yes. Okay. Good afternoon. Today, thank you for the introduction. Going to talk, really quite briefly about religious trends in Iran and confessional communities. It's really such a complex and vast field that I'm really not able to do justice to the whole topic in the time allotted, but let's begin with a look at the predominant major ethnic groups in Iran today. They're composed basically of Iranian and Turkic peoples. From the slide you can see population figures. These are a little dated. I think they're right now we're estimating that there are about 77 million Iranians, and these figures are a little bit dated, but the proportions are correct. So predominantly from all of these different groups, we see Persians are the largest population, followed by Azeri or Azerbaijani Turks, and then Kurds, and you can read the rest there. When we break these down confessionally, we'll see that the majority of the population, basically 98% or so, are Muslims, and out of that, almost 90% are Shia Muslims, whereas another almost 10% are Sunni. This leaves us with a very small, or 2% population, made up of various non-Muslim religious minorities. Prior to the 1979 revolution, the percentage was much larger. However, conditions inside Iran have not been conducive to these other faiths, and the Islamic Republic of Iran has had a policy which encourages these religious minorities to immigrate as religious refugees. So from this group, we will see Zoroastrians, Jews, Christians, Baha'is, Mandeans, and Hindus. The last two are really quite negligible. And of course, within the Muslim community itself, we have a number of other small and interesting sects, but time doesn't permit us to discuss them. Let's move on to the Zoroastrian community. Zoroastrians, from ancient times, Zoroastrianism was the state religion, and Zoroastrians themselves really sort of believe that they are preservers and promoters of Iranian culture. lots of Zoroastrian customs and festivals are still practiced or have become part of Iranian culture, and also Central Asian, Eurasian peoples, such as Nowruz, the celebration of the Persian New Year. Currently, the Zoroastrian community is probably estimated to be at 30,000, and that's much, quite small. They live primarily in Tehran, and then in the provinces of Yazd and Kerman. The Zoroastrian community, due to various pressures, found it easier to immigrate to Tehran. Also, let's see, during the 17th and 19th centuries, there were different campaigns launched against them. So we see that a number of them have left Iran. Of course, worldwide there are approximately 125,000 Zoroastrians, and the Parsis in India, particularly in Bombay area, are probably one of the largest Zoroastrian communities in the world. Moving to Jewish population, there was a significant Jewish population in Iran, located in the western regions, in the cities of Hamadan, Sanandaj, Kermanshah, which is part of Persian Kurdistan, and Isfahan and Shiraz. However, about 2/3 of the Jewish population has, since the 1979 revolution, has immigrated or left the country. Many have resettled in Israel. Also, the Jewish community numbers dwindled due to proselytization. A number of them converted to Islam, others to Baha'ism, and also there were converts to Christianity. There is a Jewish Persian culture. There's from biblical times. There in Iran itself, we have a number of biblical sites, such as the tombs of Esther and Mordecai, tomb of Daniel, other different locations, the cave of Elijah, etc. Under the current regime, actually the Jews have suffered less than some of the other non-Muslim religious minorities, such as the Christians and the Baha'is. Talking of the Christians, there has been since Sasanian times, in the 3rd century, a number of Christian communities, Nestorian Christians. Actually, in the 10th century, we could say that Christianity, or Nestorian Christianity, was the largest or the fastest growing religion in Central Asia. Okay, for a while. That coincides with the Arab or Muslim occupation of Iran, etc. However, that trend stopped. Let's see, the peoples of Iran and lands to the east, notably Khorasan, slowly over the years converted to Islam. But around different communities of Christians, such as Armenians or Georgian Christians were brought into the country at different times to fulfill different niches, such as in the trades and merchant classes. In the 19th century, we find the Europeans sending missionaries to Iran. So we have Protestant and Anglican missionaries beginning their work. In 1912, the Episcopal or the Anglican Church was established, and they had their first bishop. It's interesting to note that the Christian community, or these outside European Christians coming in, had a tacit agreement with the indigenous Armenian, Georgian, and other Christian communities that they would not convert or try to proselytize Armenian Christians or Georgian Christians. So they focused their missionary efforts on Zoroastrians, Jews, and Christians, as well as Muslims. However, that was not well, anyway, we'll move on to that in a second. Since the revolution in 1979, there's been about 50% of the Christian population has fled Iran. There has been a crackdown on the Christians. One of the things that really worries the current regime is proselytization. And according to Islamic law, basically within Muslim communities, you are basically born as a Muslim, and to convert from Islam to another religion is apostasy, which is punishable by death. Okay, there have been a number of highly publicized instances of Christian converts, and this has been sort of an ongoing battle or fight that the Christian community has had to bear. The regime has instituted a ID card system, so that sometimes the Revolutionary Guards will check Christians going to church to worship, to make sure that everyone is identified as a Christian, in order to make sure that no Muslims are attending the services. Our last minority that we'll cover are the Baha'is. The Baha'is actually started in the 19th century in Iran with the Bab, or a movement during very, very interesting history. Really started out and spread widely as a social movement, and then it evolved into Baha'ism, which I can't go into at the moment. However, the Baha'is are perceived as being apostates, and therefore heretics, and they have been and continue to be persecuted in Iran. There is, if you look at the slide up at the top right, you see something called the Hujatiyya Society. It's a secret society now. It was founded in the 1950s, and reports are that the President Ahmadinejad is a member of this society. It was actually banned because it was one of its main purposes was to foment anti-Baha'i movements against them. Under Mohammad Reza Shah, the last Shah of Iran, the Baha'i community did quite well because the Shah was trying to promote a meritocracy, and so a number of in the Baha'i community were very enterprising and well-educated individuals who built up industrial complexes. For example, Baha'is ran the state television, and they had the Pepsi plant, the tire plant, and automobile, etc. They were served without discrimination in the diplomatic corps, etc. However, with the revolution, they have come under lots and lots of increased restrictions and persecutions, especially have been limited in their access to education, etc. Now let's move to the Muslim community. Here we'll say that I'm sure everyone is aware of the major divisions within Islam between the Sunnis and the Shi'i. The Sunnis in Iran are approximately, probably a little less than the 9% of the population. They're primarily found amongst ethnic minorities. Let's see, such as the Kurds, the Baluch, and Turkmen. Also, let's see, in the Arab population, it's not quite 50-50. I think 60% of the Iranian Arabs are Shi'i, and 40% are Sunni. They're found, as if you look at the slide, we have the black areas indicate the major locations for these different Sunni populations. You see the Kurds in the western border with Iraq. We see Turkmen up on the border with Turkmenistan, and then the Baluch down in the southeast. There have been some difficulties within for the Sunnis in Iran. Of course, the Kurds. The Kurdish question is an ongoing one, and so there has been a lot of Kurdish political activity, and that's part of a regional problem which extends not just, it's not in Iran, but also in Iraq and Syria and Turkey. The Baluch, on the other hand, down in the southeast, there's been a small movement, a organization known as Jundallah, has perpetrated a number of terrorist attacks, but they really haven't gotten much traction. The Sunni community has been restricted by the regime on the construction of mosques. Like, say, for example, it's sort of forbidden in Tehran, different places. There are Sunni seminaries, and those the curriculum there is regulated and overseen by Shia authorities. But anyway, let's move on to Sufis, and this is a very, very quick and dirty presentation in that Sufis, basically, Sufism, you say, is Islamic mysticism, just like Christianity and Judaism have, and other religions have that form of mysticism. And as a result, it's basically a quest for the follower to find unity with God, and so it's not a rejection, but the emphasis there is on a personal experience and contact with God, as opposed to this more legalistic and strict interpretation of religious law. But within the Sufi communities throughout Islam, we have primarily Sunni orders, mainly because Sunnis are the largest division amongst the Muslims, and then we have the Shi'i or Shiite Sunnis. The largest order amongst the Shiite order in Iran are the Ni'matullahi order, with approximately 2 million adherents, and there have been some problems there, which have of a political nature, in that the one of the branches had come out publicly stating that they did not believe in the concept of vilayat-e faqih, okay, which I will get to momentarily. It's basically the premise that the theocracy in Iran is built on a theory established by or formulated by Grand Ayatollah Khomeini. But anyway, the Ni'matullahi community has lost a number of their leaders, have fled the country to persecution, but there is that aspect. On the Sunni side, probably the largest Sunni Sufi sect are the Qadiris, who are found throughout the region and in the hemisphere. But in Iran, okay, it's primarily amongst the Kurdish population, and they have been relatively free of any persecution. Let's move to the Islamic Revolution and Ayatollah Khomeini. We have the introduction of an Islamic government, slowly and in pieces. I think it's very important to understand that the Iranian Revolution was not one-sided. There were a number of different many different parties, and in many ways we could say that it was a social uprising, as opposed to a revolution that came just because of, let's say, from one group. Here with this slide, we see a number of Iran nationalist religious ideologues, because during the earlier, but primarily in the 60s, there was a lot of political nationalistic religious movements. Here we see a number of the leaders at the top, who are not clerics. Down in the bottom row, we see Grand Ayatollah Talakani, Grand Ayatollah Shariat Madari, and Grand Ayatollah Montazeri. These people advocated for a more, let's say, a nationalistic religious state. We have reformist, Islamic reformist thinkers such as Ali Shariati, who was considered to be radical. But all of these particular movements that were going on sort of all came together in sort of the free Iranian movement, which basically embraced an ideology of liberalism, Islamic socialism, pragmatism, nationalism, and reform. However, these ideas and parties and different sects were gradually lost power, and as the Islamic regime and this concept of vilayat-e faqih, which I should explain now, means the guardianship of the Jurist Council. It's a horrible translation, but vilayat comes from the Arabic waliyat, or wali is guardian or governor, and faqih is someone who knows Islamic jurisprudence. We have fiqh, which is that is Islamic jurisprudence, and so basically the concept is that the best expert in Islamic jurisprudence should take leadership over the Islamic community. Now, this is a radical change. It's innovative. It's very experimental in that within Shia Islam we have the 12 imams, and the community is waiting for the 12th imam to return. However, within this concept, then the wali a faqih would then stand or in the place of the hidden imam until the time that he returns. This has really driven a wedge, well, a number of wedges, but a major wedge in the Shia community, in that, well, okay, and then again I need to be careful and just clarify that within Shia Islam there are three main divisions: the Ithna Ashari or the Twelvers, who believe in 12 imams; the Ismailis, who are also sometimes called the Seveners because they believe in 7 imams; and then the Zaydis, who hold for five imams. But within this community, the in general, Islam has really avoided or not has taught that Muslims should obey those who are in authority, and that basically the clerical class have remained quietists and have not participated in politics at all. And okay, within we find that with this concept of vilayat-e faqih, which is the raison d'etre for the current regime. We have a number of these reformers, religious reformers in the past who and present who wanted to see different reforms in the religion. Currently, we're looking at a slide of Abdul Karim Soroush. Soroush was a great thinker, still is. He's in exile currently in the United States. He was very, very popular teacher in some of the best known mosques in Tehran and in the seminary in Qom, seminaries in Qom. Basically, what Soroush is advocating is saying that within Islam there are three main issues and problems that need to be addressed, and those are one, that Islam needs to resolve itself with the process of modernization. Secondly, it has to resolve itself with secularization, meaning, let's see, that there has to be an understanding that that people can live secular lives, but also not be corrupted. And then the third is that the teachings and various practices of religion need to undergo a reform. And by that there are a number of different things, such as he's saying, well, the seminary students all read all of these medieval books which form the curriculum, and they read them in Arabic. Why can't they read them in Persian? Or there are quotes from some of the books in which particularly in biological, medical, and sciences and medicine, that we know simply aren't true. And basically, you'd like to see that. So we have these different movements within Shia Islam and in Iran. One of the currently Grand Ayatollah Khamenei is in charge. See from this slide that let's see, Ayatollah Khomeini took power in '79. He died in 1989. There was a major crisis right before he died, because earlier I had shown you a photograph of Grand Ayatollah Montazeri, who was one of the great advocates for the revolution and for Ayatollah Khomeini. However, he became very vocal, and he had was instrumental in formulating the constitution of Iran. But he became very critical and vocal against the direction that the revolution was taking. And previously he had been designated as the successor of Ayatollah Khomeini, but he was removed from that. He lost that position because of his outspokenness and his challenge to the direction that the revolution was making. And as a result of looking, then Ayatollah Khamenei was appointed supreme ruler. One of the problems that they had in appointing Khamenei was that he was not a grand ayatollah, and of course, in order to become the Vali Faqih, or the Marja Taqlid, the supreme leader for for the nation, then he needed to be a grand Ayatollah. This is something. This is not a position that one studies for and takes an exam. This is something that is bestowed on individual clerics by their peers in recognition for their superior knowledge of the Islamic sciences. There was a very, very, very hard time in finding people to endorse Khomeini, mainly because they were saying, well, no, he's really quite mediocre and he really doesn't have that knowledge. But neither. We say that as part of this movement, he gained that position and has been in that position since 1989. Now, I will say that the Islamic Revolution, or let's go back here, has been, it's not just religious, but well, we say because Islam is a total way of life, behavior, culture. There is an ongoing campaign within the government of Iran to really put that stamp of authority into to wage what I call and others have called culture war against outside sources. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, is basically formed in order to preserve the revolution, and they have as well as upholding religious law, etc. Now they're trying to been enforcing dress codes, censorship, bans on satellite dishes, and all sorts of different things that are deemed by the regime to be un-Islamic. But in 2009, with the presidential elections, there were phenomena called the Green Reform Movement. The reformists, two of the leaders of this, Mir Hussein Mousavi and Mehdi Karoubi, were highlighted as the leaders. There were huge grassroots demonstrations against the results of the elections, and support for these two individuals. It's probably what we could say is that this green movement or reformist movement has such a broad-based grassroots support, mainly because it is pulling together all the different elements that are against a very hardcore regime that is rejecting what it calls Western influence and outside influence. It just wants to be insular. We have a number of people within the movement. The two leaders, Mousavi and Karoubi, have been under house arrest for a number of years now, and that the movement has been sidetracked, but and gone underground. But there are number of thinkers. Many of them have been exiled as well. But I think one of the main components would say that really the opposition is against this concept of vilayat-e faqih, and within the Shia ulama, or that religious community of scholars or clerics, to say that really this is just a minor hypothesis. This is an experiment, and they don't agree with this at all. And so then so we see the regime, we see this reformist movement, but what we don't see are these quietists, these grand ayatollahs who are basically non-committal, mainly because they don't believe that they should be involved in politics. They believe that they should be quietists. And from time to time, there have been a number of, well, let's see, no, there are a number of ayatollahs who are in prison. There are grand ayatollahs that have been and are under house arrest. One of the little things is that according to the Iranian Constitution, a grand ayatollah cannot be executed. The story goes that, well, when Ayatollah Khomeini last time he was imprisoned by the Shah of Iran, he was going to be executed, and it was only Grand Ayatollah Shariat Madari who stepped in and recognized him as a Grand Ayatollah that saved his life. So we have a number of the Grand Ayatollah Montazeri, who had been the right-hand man of Khomeini, but who was deposed in order of Khomeini, had been under house arrest for many years. In fact, Grand Ayatollah Shariat Madari, who had actually saved Khomeini's life, was placed under house arrest. So we have a lot of well, a number of clerics who have been vocal and have been silenced because of that, and then others that are just setting aside. What I would like to finish up very quickly, we see a picture of Grand Ayatollah Ali Sistani of Iraq. Okay, he sits in Najaf, which is a great Shia pilgrimage spot. Sistani is a quietist. He does not believe. However, within the Shiite community, see, while the Sunnis give zakat or alms or for the religious tax, the Sunnis, the Shia, give something called khums, and they give that money to their Grand Ayatollah. And of all of the Grand Ayatollahs within the Shia community worldwide, Sistani has the largest following, and he's the most, okay. What is will be interesting to watch is that now I believe he's about 88 years old, and there have been a number of assassination attempts on him in the past 6 months. The question is, well, once Sistani dies, who will succeed him, and what will that mean for the overall Shia population worldwide? And I think I'll probably stop there and take questions and comments.
Yes, let me shoot over a couple questions to you. Just a moment.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and read off these questions to you, sir, and if you just respond as time allows.
Okay, good.
Based on this analysis, what from the sociocultural perspective does he consider for Iran to be: 1, pressure points; 2, vulnerabilities; and 3, influence conduits?
Okay, let's see. That was, okay, pressure points, and could you repeat that again?
Sure. Vulnerabilities and for targeting and influence, and conduits, etc.
Okay, well, let's see. Probably just to, okay, a number of these questions we could, go on for days. I think really the main thing that don't want to call it necessarily a vulnerability. Let's talk about the direction that the regime has taken in trying to basically dictate behavior, proper thought, proper what to say and do, and what to read and watch. Okay, so basically, I think in the older days, or when I went to college, there was a policy of something called in loco parentis. We're acting as parents. Well, we see that the Iranian regime is basically trying to control everything, and if we look at Iranian society or civilization heritage from the earliest times, what we see is a richness and diversity in opinions and ideas and innovations, and so by trying to stamp out dissent, or by trying to manage behavior, that this it's going to all be counterproductive to the regime. I'll just stop there. It's a difficult question, and I think I really have to think on it to give you a better answer. Next question, please.
Sure. Question: are religious minorities given special immigration preference by the U.S. government?
I'm not sure about the U.S. government. I would imagine, having worked with refugees myself for a number of years in Pakistan and Thailand, I believe that they would be eligible for refugee status in the United States, as religious or prisoners or refugees of conscience. But I don't know the details there, but I'm fairly certain. We have a number of, let's see, we saw the slide of Abdul Karim Sarouche and then Mohsen Kadivar. Both of them are teaching in U.S. universities right now. So I would imagine that I don't know what their status is, but I'm sure that they are, if not religious refugees, then political refugees.
Okay, we'll give just a couple more questions and then we'll wrap up. Here's one for you, sir. Does the current religious leadership in Iran truly regard the return of the Mahdi as important and or imminent, or is this just religious and political rhetoric used to control the loyalty of certain communities in Iran?
Well, okay. Let's not generalize and say the all clerics agree. Basically, I think the standard Orthodox Shia line is yes, the 12th Imam will return. However, we do not, okay, or they do not know when he's going to return, and to say whether it's imminent or not is not fair. I think maybe perhaps the questioner is getting at the fact that the President Ahmadinejad has been linked with a group. Okay, I mentioned earlier this Hujatiyya, led by Ayatollah Misbah Yazdi, in which maybe there is this sort of apocalyptic idea that, and also Ahmadinejad in his speeches begins with, okay, may God hasten the reappearance of the 12th Imam or something to that effect. So I think throughout history, when we talk about we find all different sorts, but generally speaking, I don't think that that there is a great feeling that the time is imminent, and some people have been trying to make the argument that Ahmadinejad and this secret society are all pushing for nuclear weapons so that they can nuke Israel and bring about the reappearance of the Mahdi and all of these things. But I'll stop there.
Okay, one last question. The MEK has been called a cult. Are they a religious minority in the sense of how you cover minorities in your talk?
Well, actually, if I'm correct, I believe that's Mujahideen Khalq, and they are not a religious minority. Basically, they're well, let's see. When I was living in Iran and I had friends who belonged to Mujahideen Khalq, they were socialists, borderline communist. However, during that, within and in a battle with against the Shah, with all of the shoulder to shoulder, therefore a bit with Ayatollah Khomeini and his supporters, all working together to bring down the Shah and the Pahlavi regime. However, now I think since, okay, and that's a lot of water under the bridge. I think. See, now I'm having a senior moment here. I think their leader is Mariam Rajavi, or Rajabi. I can't remember. I think she basically has a well, I'm not too clear. I wouldn't exactly call it a cult. I think a number of people, and we have. We put them on the list, the terrorist list. So actually, it would be probably more correct to label them as a violent extreme organization rather than a cult.
Okay, I lied. One more question because I thought that was kind of interesting. Upon what is Iranian nationalism, Western concept, currently based? Religious ideology, ethno-cultural, or political? I think we've lost the microphone.
Is that okay?
There you go.
Yeah, can you hear me? Hear me now? Okay, good. Let's see. Let me just address what I see as two two forces at odds right now. What I talked about culture wars and the current regime trying to implement their version of Islamic law, okay, and trying to keep their revolution pure. What that has done in a number of ways is that the harder or hard or mainline clerics in the line have been rejecting a number of national symbols, or say, for example, these festivals or customs that are vestiges of Zoroastrianism, such as Nowruz, the New Year celebration with all of its different things. They have something they call the Haft scene, where you have seven. Anyway, it's a very nice presentation. That the Thursday before, you have something called Charshambe Suri, where they build bonfires and jump over. These customs, etc., are by a number of hardliners who are very inflexible or intolerant, have been saying, no, we totally reject that. And then even where you have instances of classical literature, of poetic works that have been published for or read for 1,500 years being censored. That's too much. On the other side, we have Ahmadinejad, okay, who is in opposition now, or out of political favor, who has been trying to advocate for a very, very odd and strange type of Iranian Shiism that builds up or incorporates this Persian heritage, talking about Ferdowsi, all of these poets, or this idea. He's coming out with all of these strange and odd statements, which really clash with the hardliners and the regime, and that basically, by saying that, well, Iran has a special kind of Islam, or Shia Islam, the hardliners is saying, no, there's only one Islam, and it belongs to the world. There isn't an Iranian one. So you have these two extremes, but what you have in the middle are all of those people who are perhaps secularists, or of all these different factions or degrees or opinions or whatever. But it doesn't matter, what their political or religious beliefs are. They are Iranians. They're proud of their heritage, thousands of years, the accomplishments of their ancestors, and their history and who they are. And so that's something that that is there. And so we do find a what I call culture wars. And although the regime, I'm sorry, let's see, I lost my thought there. Okay.
Was that all you had, sir?
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Okay. Were there any final thoughts, sir, before we close it up?
I just, basically say that Iran. Okay, when we're talking about its position and the problems that we see with this worry over nuclear proliferation or whatever. These we see that the regime or the supreme leader has come out with a fatwa saying that against nuclear weapons, etc. But I think if you go and you talk to everyday Iranians on the street, one of the things that they are really or they maintain is their right um, to sovereignty. And yeah, so that's all I've got. Thank you.
Well, on behalf of the CKC director, Mr. Carl Prinsloo, I'd like to sincerely extend our appreciation to Dr. Luce for sharing here today. If you have a topic that you'd like to present during the speaker series or know of someone that does, please email or call us. Contact information, the CKC blog, discussion forums, and other resources are available on the CKC web portal at www.culturalknowledge.org. A recording of this presentation will be posted in the document library of the CKC web portal. Thank you again, Dr. Luce, and thank you all for being here. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.